Ladies and gentlemen, my name is BrendenPlayz, and welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling. We are continuing our TNA playthrough, and last episode, it was a huge episode because this man, Chris Jericho, is now officially a part of TNA. Can you believe it? Jericho is on our roster. So, I personally cannot believe it. It's incredible. So, Chris Jericho's here. He's 36 years of age. He's got some of the best stats in the game. Popularity is sky high as well. It is a dream signing. It's everything we want. He is the man, and he's on our roster. Now, we assigned him a gimmick. He didn't have one attached with him when he came along. We've given him the best in the world gimmick, which is considered to be a cool gimmick. Went with that. I think just, obviously he does portray that gimmick, but there wasn't really any others that kind of stood out to me that I thought was the right one. I think, Jericho kind of goes with the rock star or the best in the world type of thing, so we're happy with the one that we've got him now, and it does work as a face or as a heel, and he should respond pretty well to it as well, so it should be a successful gimmick for him, fingers crossed. Just looking now, I just noticed his size is currently at a lightweight. We can push him up to middleweight, which I think would be better for Jericho. Lightweight's, that's pretty small, and I think Jericho is actually bigger than a lightweight, so we're going to push Jericho up to a middleweight. Now, changing someone's size, their weight, apparently it does affect their performance, so that, when they're wrestling they can be a bit sluggish or a bit slower whilst they're trying to adjust to their new weight or slimming down. So it can mean that sometimes the performances that they do produce whilst they're trying to change their weight can be a little bit worse than usual. So luckily for us, Jericho probably won't be wrestling for about another month anyway, so we shouldn't really have too much worries there. A couple other things to get into before we get to our shows. We've had ourselves a couple of little pieces of news this week. So of course, the first one is Jazz. Her contract is expiring. We knew about this with our hirings and firings episode. We kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do with her. We probably will let her go and have a lose a few matches on the way out. And then whilst we let her go, we might bring up a couple of women from our developmental to replace her. Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks, his contract expiring. We have given him a new contract, but unfortunately, him and his brother do not want to work down in developmental anymore. Now, I don't know about Nick. We actually haven't tried him, but I dare say he'll be the same, that he won't want to stay in developmental. Maybe he will? No, he doesn't want to. So he wants to sign a written main roster deal. And what that basically means is that, okay, he doesn't want to go to developmental strictly on a developmental deal. He wants to get a main roster contract, but you can always put him back down to developmental. Just looking at his stats here, they're pretty decent. You can see quite a lot of development has occurred. His brawling went from 33 to 57, for example. Mat wrestling 33 to 58. Hardcore 30 to 53. So lots of improvement there for him. His basics, this is the big one, 65 to 70. Psychology huge as well, 40 to 62. So there is a major improvement for him. And I dare say his brother will be very similar. So that's very, very positive news for us. Is he main roster ready? He's not that far away, to be honest. The only issue, of course, is their popularity, and I'm sure a lot of you guys want me to bring them in and give them that big push, and don't want them losing too much. But unfortunately, if we were to bring them in, that just wouldn't be possible because of their popularity being so low. And just looking at Matt Jackson as well, his stats have had a nice steady improvement as well, with his basic 65 to 71, psychology 40 to 64. So definitely some improvement there for. Actually, was it the same? Yeah, no, definitely some improvement there for the Young Bucks. The other thing was Super Crazy. His contract is expiring, 33 years of age, and Super Crazy, great high flyer. Would be really excellent for our X Division, I think. Popularity of 57 as well. Looking at some of his best matches, his best match was 89, a part of the Mexicools. His best one-on-one was against Benoit, 88. That's not that much of a surprise. But just his average match is 74, so he does have some pretty good matches considering who he's working with and his popularity. And of course, WWE, if your popularity is low, it's very difficult to have a good quality match unless you're versing someone who does have that popularity to go with it. Whereas in TNA, popularity is only half the battle. Your in-ring performance is 50%, and your popularity is 50%. So he's got good popularity, and also his ring work, by the looks of it's pretty good as well. Let's see if he's improving, or yeah, he definitely is. Okay, so I thought he may be going down, but he's actually getting better, so that's a good sign as well. Basics up to 95 now. Psychology is good. So overall, quite clearly, a pretty good worker, and would have a lot of good high-flying matches with some of our roster. So I think I might try and make a play for him. I think his popularity is good enough where we could put him straight on our main roster, and also plug him into the X Division. Of course, let's not forget, we are probably going to be getting rid of a couple of our X Division guys as well, so it's also a good time to bring him in and replace some of the guys that we've got there, and fingers crossed that he does have some good performances. Now, the only issue is WWE is giving him a new contract. Pretty good deal as well, nearly $17,000 for 2 years. That's good money, and I don't know if we're going to be able to match that. I don't think we're going to be able to get anywhere near it, so even though we really want him, I don't know if we're going to be able to get there, because Dixie's not going to be that lenient to us. Maybe next time round in the next stage, but we'll have to give him a big deal to attract him to our show. So we'll have to give him a big bonus. And Dixie again not happy with the bonus there. So okay, so that's good enough for him at the moment. So 5-year deal, 50% bonus per event. So he's going to get a big payday every time he competes on pay-per-view, which is okay. That's okay. And a 5-year deal, as we've said, 13 grand. So at the moment, he's happy with that. I'm sure WWE will counter, and he'll probably be more inclined to go to them, but let's hope not. And the last but not least, Okada. So his contract is up. 18 years of age, and still got a lot of development to go. He's not the greatest wrestler in the world at the moment right now. He's certainly not the Okada you know right now in the real world, but he has has that potential. We know that. But let's have a look at his stats and see if he has improved. So, started at 19 brawling up to 53. That's quite a big improvement. Mat wrestling 29 to 49, submissions 23 to 44, aerial 25 to 56. That's actually a really big improvement. So, quite clearly showing that give him another 2 or 3 years, he will be a legitimate player on our roster. But for right now, he still has a lot of work to go. Basics 45 up to 67. Psychology, wow, look at this improvement. 35 up to 69. That's huge. That's a really big improvement in the last year. So he's already come so far already within the span of 1 year. How far will he go in another year and another year after that? I think we're going to try and find out. Let's try and hang on to him. So he won't have any interest from anyone else. And again, he doesn't want to sign a developmental deal. He feels as though he's not going to improve anymore. I hope he improves some more. Otherwise, yeah. So if he feels as though he's not going to improve anymore, that kind of makes me a little bit worried. So what I might do is I might just give him a 6-month deal instead, and take a look at his stats and see if they've improved any further in that 6-month period. If they're still going up and up and up, they're still getting better, then absolutely we'll give him a longer deal. But if they're not improving, then we might let him go and let him, go elsewhere to improve, rather than us spending the time in the payroll to keep him on our roster. And obviously, we know he's a special talent right now in 2017, but at the moment, 2007, not quite there yet. So we'll have to wait and see. And that's all our news at the moment. But we do have one little piece of news from our developmental. Perry Saturn. So we had a change of champion down in developmental. Now, I probably expected this to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. Perry Saturn's actually won the GFW heavyweight title. He beat Mark Jindrak for that championship. So, Jindrak, he had a pretty good reign, 12 championship defenses. And by the looks of it, that seems to be where we're at. You get 11 or 12 championship defenses, then you drop the belt down in GFW. But that's pretty good time. You can see Monty Brown, he had a 3-month reign. Petey Williams, about a 3-4 month reign. And looks as though Mark Jindrak had about a 3-month reign as well, 3-4 months. So that seems to be kind of where they're going with that, and I don't mind that at all. It's not too long, but it's also not too short. It's giving a few different guys the opportunities to compete for that championship and be the champion. And you can see Monty Brown on the main roster, Petey Williams on the main roster, Mark Jindrak we saw him in a match not long ago, had a really good performance. I don't think he's that far away from getting to the main roster himself. So it's good that we're seeing legitimate competitors getting this championship at the moment. Guys who I definitely see on our main roster, they're getting the championship, which is fantastic to see. And Perry Saturn, obviously we brought him in as a veteran role to come in and put over the young guys. Yes, winning the championship isn't ideal, but it does mean that he can work with some of our new guys and kind of help them there. And he's having 70 rated matches at the moment, which is not too bad. So I'm pretty happy with that. You've got to be happy with that. That's decent quality, good enough at the moment, and we can kind of work with that. But at the moment, Ryan O'Reilly, which I think that's Connor from the Ascension in the current day. We don't even have him under contract in a developmental deal. He's just on a pay per appearance. He was signed by GFW themselves, and they've treated him pretty well. He's a two-time next gen champion, so yeah, they definitely have treated him quite well. Roman Reigns has held the belt, Nakamura's held it, and then a couple other guys that we don't even have on our developmental have held it, so there you go. And as for the tag team, well, the tag team division is all over the place. We assign teams for them to be champions or be in the tag division, and then unfortunately there's this annoying thing where the developmental company can kind of split teams up or form new teams. They can kind of do that, and it's really frustrating because quite often teams that are legitimate teams, they will disband them and have them not competing as a team. And I'll show you this in a moment's time. So you see, here's the teams we've got right now, and there's a few, here. The only real team that we've formed here is the Shield, which is great that they've got 40 tag experience already. Before they even hit the main roster, 40 tag experience. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But you can see that they've formed some other teams here as well. But if you go and have a look at some inactive teams, Stampede Bulldogs, 100 experience. We brought them in to be a tag team. They're not using them for whatever reason. And then a couple of versions of the Shield as well. And then obviously the Young Bucks. Why are they not having the Young Bucks competing as a team? I don't know. If you have any solutions to this, please let me know. But it's really frustrating when you're trying to create new teams, develop new teams down in developmental, and they don't stay as a team. They get rid of them. So yeah, that's why we've got some really weird teams as tag team champions down there. It's not just me. Now, we did establish now, of course, Chris Jericho is coming, and because of that, we are going to be turning Christian to heel. We're going to turn Christian heel, and we're going to look to have Christian and Jericho now feud. So it's been a while since we've done a major turn. This will be our next one, Christian turning, so we're going to start to slowly build up towards that, and I think that's going to be really, really fun to see as well. So Christian slowly going to turn heel, and probably Jericho will debut at the next pay-per-view against all odds. And I think someone in our comments on one of the videos recently said to have Christian host the Peep Show and then have it be interrupted by Chris Jericho and have him debut like that. I thought that was a perfect way to do it, so that's probably how we're going to go about it. So that's going to be really fun to see as well. And fortunately for us, we don't have to change Christian's gimmick. He's got a unique, charismatic gimmick which is rated legendary. So it works as a heel or face. So it means when we do the turn, he's already going to have a really strong gimmick, and it will mean that Christian's going to have a lot of momentum right from the get-go. So this popularity that has dipped just a little bit lately, hopefully we can get it back to that 90 mark and also get Jericho there at the same time. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we get Jericho and Christian at that elite status, 90 plus, both at the same time? It would be unbelievable, but it's going to be tough to do, but I hope we can do it. The other guy that's kind of there at the moment is Abyss, who has been phenomenal for us. And Muhammad Hassan has dipped just a little bit, just under 90 at the moment, so we need to get him there as well. But that's pretty much all we've got there for the time being. But yes, so certainly a lot going on right now. Our last show that we did was a 90 rated show. We had Fallen Angel beat A-Train, Rikishi beat Monty Brown, his debut there, Sarita beat Jazz, Kings of Wrestling. Geez, they're doing well, the Kings of Wrestling. We need to get them in a better position. Paul London beat Saban for a 80 rated match as well. So, and of course, we did book the Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy match. That is official. We're going to have that rematch again. But just a quick look at our storylines at the moment. You can see Jarrett and Styles has had a good start. That's really about it. Hassan and Angel's doing well. And yeah, so probably could be doing a lot better. Oh, of course, and yes, Hardy and Joe is doing excellent. So a few other mid-card rivalries, not on that same level just quite yet, but our big rivalries are certainly doing quite well indeed. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy with our progress. You can see our World Championship up to a 97 prestige. Tag title 71, hasn't really moved. It is a mid-card championship. Probably should be a floating championship. I tend to have my tag titles as a floater. I do that because main event guys can hold it, mid-card guys can hold it, lower guys. So it's a title that's not necessarily stuck in the one spot. It can really be moved around well. So we're going to change that. I'm sure that might affect the prestige. No, okay, it doesn't. That's good. X Division 71 as well, and just a quick look as well as at our mid-card titles. The global title doing really, really well, 85 and 90 for our Knockouts Championship as well. So, Gal Kim had a great run with the championship. Now Melina is starting to have a really nice run with it as well, which is fantastic. Matt Morgan, 2-time global champion at the moment as well. So, just want to give you guys a bit of an update. We'll try and do this a little bit more often, just give you more updates on what's going on. Because obviously, yes, big signings and things like that are happening, but there's a lot of things in the background that we don't necessarily show all the time that I'm sure you guys will be interested in as well. And just another bit of update on our size. It looks like the Mid-Atlantic might have bumped up just a little bit to give us a bit of a small buffer in that region. But right now, Great Lakes and Northwest are still certainly right on the edge. We need to continue the momentum there, and we need to have another strong performance there. But with that being said, we may as well get booking right now. I'm sure that's what we want to see. We'll see how we go in this week's episode. So Jericho not available yet, so he's not contracted on yet. And of course, Lashley is also out of action with an MMA fight as well. And did I tell you guys that we had a better TV slot now? I think, yeah, we did that last episode. So our ratings should continue to be stronger, and we're currently scheduled for the Mid-Atlantic region. So we'll stay there, and we'll hope to have a big show for you. So we'll show you the results. So the results here for Impact. We had a pre-show match just to see how Perry Saturn's going, where he's currently at. And he had a pretty good performance. 72 rated matchup against Tanahashi. Tanahashi got the win, of course. And just an 8-minute match, so not really a long one. It could have been a lot better between the two, but Perry Saturn, 72 rated, so still can go, which is good, That's what we want for our developmental. A guy still can go. We can bring him up occasionally to have the odd matchup, and he can go just fine. So that's very positive. Started the show off with Muhammad Hassan having a big celebration. How good is Hassan? Celebrating that he's the champion, he's the greatest champion, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Fallen Angel comes back out there, and they go back and forth on the mic, setting up further for their big clash at the next pay-per-view. To follow it up, we have the Kings of Wrestling. They took on Team Canada, which was Eric Young and Petey Williams. We're probably going to stick with this combination of Young and Williams going forward. Put Bobby Roode as more of a singles. And again, Cesaro, 89. Chris Hero, 93. So good as a team. Amazing. Petey Williams, he does do a lot better as a tag team guy. Low 60s on his own, mid to up 60s with someone else, which is good. Eric Young, 74 as well. And look, Petey Williams should still be getting better. Same with Eric Young, so it's still early days. But yeah, as a team, they do okay. 79 rated match overall. Jeff Jarrett promo on AJ, 88. Rhino and Bobby Roode as a number one contenders match for the Global Championship. Probably our two best contenders right now. Rhino 79, Roode 83. Overall 80 an overall of 80 for the matchup. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good for these two where they're at. Roode 83, so definitely is starting to prove himself as a singles. It was a wild brawl match, so that does suit both guys. And certainly Rhino would decided every time we see Rhino, he's going to have to be in this type of match to get the best out of him. And he goes from about a 70 in ring to a 79, 80, so that's really, really positive. Afterwards, Matt Morgan laid out Rhino, so Rhino was celebrating number one contender, and then that was shut down pretty quickly. Afterwards, we had Alyssa Flash going one-on-one with Beth Phoenix, 75 rated match between these two. Alyssa Flash, 71. So, you know, as we said a few episodes ago, we do want to try and identify a list of women we want to push, and similar to the man, we want to try and do something with the women. Certainly Alyssa Flash has to be up there as one of the women we want to push the most, because she's doing really well. Good performances, 71 for the women is fantastic. 75 overall match is very, very good. Beth Phoenix did get the win. Afterwards, Melina taunted Beth Phoenix, and we didn't have Beth go back with her on the microphone because Melina's promos on her own are just excellent. We did this as a way just to lift the storyline heat a little bit further up for this feud. And we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus Paul London and Shannon Moore. So Chris Sabin, 93, Alex Shelley, 100. Yep, you heard that one right. 100 in-ring performance for Alex Shelley in this tag match. That is crazy. Shannon Moore, 69. So Moore didn't do that bad. And Paul London, 84. So you must be thinking, well, hey, that was a pretty damn good match. But it didn't work out to be that way. Just didn't work out to, for whatever reason, what went wrong? Too short, apparently. So it was a 13-minute matchup in the end, 13.5 minutes, so a bit too short, apparently. And yeah, so just didn't quite have enough length to get it over the line. We didn't give it a lot of time because we actually made it a high spots match, and any more than 15 minutes, generally the match will go in a negative way. So I thought we did set it for 14 minutes. It turned out to be 13.5. I thought we'd be okay, but apparently not. And that probably, just based on their ratings, that should have been a match in the mid-80s, I think. So, again with Petey Williams, we're looking at Shannon Moore, and he might be another tag team guy. And I think Paul London and Shannon Moore would make a good tag team as well. They did okay together, so something to think about. Muhammad Hassan, he cut a promo backstage of Fallen Angel, swearing revenge. He is going to get revenge on Fallen Angel for ruining his big grand celebration. And I know we doubled up on Hassan here tonight, but I think we need to do a little bit more Hassan promos. More the merrier. Our main event, oh man, okay. So, our main event, we took a risk. We took a risk because I didn't want to have Jeff Jarrett beat anyone of high profile. So, obviously, Jeff's feuding with AJ right now. So, I wanted to have Jeff Jarrett get a big win, but there really wasn't anyone available for him to beat. So I took a risk. I put Ron Killings in there because Ron Killings, as we've seen over the last few months, he has a tendency of performing in the 80s to mid 85s, nearly 90s. He gets really, really well. So he does so good. So I thought, honestly, he might be able to produce something like that again. I was very wrong. 66 for Ron Killings, 90 for Jeff Jarrett, 79 rated match. That was our main event. That's gonna kill the show right there and then. That's a disastrous match. But look, in the end, we did take a risk. I banked on Killings doing good, and he did not. He didn't deliver. So he was really off his game. He shouldn't have been off his game because it was his big moment to main event Impact and see what he can do, and he failed. Afterwards, AJ Styles, he was on commentary for the matchup. He got off commentary to get in the ring, and Jeff Jarrett ran away quickly from any confrontation. Overall, we did hit 85. Okay, so the main event didn't ruin things that badly. A good start and a good angle to finish the show off got us to 85 in the end. We'll take that. We'll definitely take that. Happy with that, because we could have been a lot worse. So, I guess looking at our shows, we are definitely having a lot of matches that are certainly down in quality right now, which is a little frustrating. A little frustrating, I gotta say. Here's some news. So, we had a 7.52 rating for Impact. Yes, the ratings are starting to really improve, which is fantastic. Chavo Guerrero's contract is now expiring, 36 years of age, 60 popularity. So, if we're looking at super crazy, certainly you got to think about Chavo Guerrero, a man who did spend some time in TNA as well. His in-ring skills, pretty good, still pretty good, and can play heel or a face, and yeah, definitely not too bad. And currently, it looks as though WWE are not going to give him a contract, so they don't want him. which means Chavo will be a free agent at the end of the month. It also means we've got free game. We've got free game to sign the man. So, yeah, we'll definitely think about that. Frankie Kazarian and Tracy Brooks have divorced. That's interesting. Because, well, I didn't even know they were together, but apparently they were. And it means now that, well, she's pregnant. So, if a divorce happened, looks like that's not going to be a happy pregnancy. And Brother Ray and Velvet Sky, they're engaged, so that's interesting. And speaking of her, she's still in Deep South Wrestling, which is WWE's developmental. Kevin Steen's staying with PWG. WWE have altered Super Crazy's deal, so they've given him a counter offer as expected, $21,000. We're only offering him 13 grand. I don't think we can really compete unless we go ridiculous, also giving a 4-year contract. So, here's what we can do. Obviously, we'll miss out on Super Crazy, which I think is probably the better worker. We don't have a direct comparison line, but we can kind of look at the match history. Chavo at a 76, so I think Super Crazy was pretty similar. Chavo's best match is 84. You know, generally Chavo's matches are in the mid-70s at the moment, so that's nothing special. I don't think Chavo's really taken on any big major names. His best match was when he teamed up with Rey Mysterio to take on the Spirit Squad. So he hasn't had a lot of major matches. I guess, you know, Booker T and Chavo was an 82. So I guess it kind of suggests that Chavo's performances may not be that great. I think you might find he might be mid-70s at best, which is not amazing. Is it because his popularity is only 60? Would he be able to do a lot better if he was taking on a few other opponents and he was in TNA? Maybe. It might be worth bringing him in anyways, because obviously WWE are not going to bring him in. They don't want him anymore. So it gives us a chance to swoop in and try our luck. And maybe we'll go for that. Maybe. Let me know in the comments down below. Should we bring in Chavo? If so, a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, maybe 6 months. I think maybe 6 months and see how he goes and reevaluate. We'll have a look. And finally, Mark Jindrak's developmental deal is up for grabs as well. 29 years of age. Jindrak has done really well. Really, really well in developmental. Let's see his progression. Probably not a lot. I mean, yeah, there is certainly some. Hardcore 18 to 43, for example. Mat Wrestling, not so much. So a few areas he hasn't improved. Some areas he definitely has. His basics and psychology. Definitely psychology has improved quite a lot. Not much there, and not much there either. So a few things he has definitely improved on. A few things that he has not. But I think his skills are pretty good at the moment. So I don't see myself pushing Jindrak for a championship or anything like that. But definitely he's a guy that could, you know, be on our main roster and be one of our lower end guys at some point. It'd be interesting. So, in saying that, we need to give him another deal, and let's hope he accepts the developmental deal. We'll give him 1 more year as a developmental. Yeah, he will. Okay, that's fantastic. So, happy to give him another year in developmental to see how he goes. His best match is against Harry Smith and MVP, 72. So, he hasn't got the big match yet. It might be worth giving him a match against one of our big names and see how he ranks up there. It definitely might be worth doing that. Chris Sabin, we've got ourselves Chris Sabin locked into a deal, 5-year deal for Chris Sabin. So we've got Sabin for a long period of time. We're not letting him go anywhere. He's been doing pretty well for us, and only 24 years of age, so we've got a lot of time ahead of him as well, which is terrific. And Alex Shelley, his partner, has been doing excellent as well. Really happy with his progression. So overall, things are going pretty well. Our storylines are slowly progressing. We probably have a good show lined up for our next pay-per-view. I don't think it's going to be the best of the year or anything like that, but it should be a solid show. We've got some big matches. Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe should be great. They've had some great matches. AJ and Jeff Jarrett, Hassan and Fallen Angel, and obviously the debut of Chris Jericho, most likely going to happen there. Not in-ring debut, but appearance debut. It should be pretty fun. So everything's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. We might leave it with that though, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you did enjoy this episode of Total Extreme Wrestling. Just having a quick look at some of the popularity progressions. Everything's going well. So I might mock up a list of our women. At least I'll try to remember to do so in the next couple episodes, and we'll see kind of where we're at with our women and have a bit more of a long-term plan for the year for our women. I think we've been a little bit all over the place of who we want to push or what we want to do. We've brought in new women. We haven't really done a lot with them though, so maybe we'll start to structure that a little bit better the next couple episodes. So keep an eye out for that one, plus much more. Of course, we could advance a few more days until the new year, the next month, which is always exciting. So next episode we'll do that. We'll show you the new month and also the explosion results as well. And we've got a few more weeks, so against all odds in 2 weeks time. So a couple more weeks now until our next pay-per-view as well. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Let's try and hit 100 likes, more episodes. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.